Welcome to the Extraordinary Executives Podcast, where business owners like you share their experiences, insight, and lessons learned. So grab your cup of coffee or tea and get ready for an engaging conversation. Here's your host, Randy Jones.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us again on the Extraordinary Executives Podcast. I'm Randy Jones, your host, and we have a special guest for you today, Mr. Robert Jones. He is the CEO and founder of Parkside Barbershop and Grooming Lounge, as well as the co-founder of Icon Commercial. As you can tell by his titles and businesses, he is about business and definitely an extraordinary executive. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you for that warm introduction,
Hey, I couldn't let you down,
you know? Like somebody, you know?
You know, you wear a lot of different hats. You have multiple companies and things like that. So I guess, whichever one you want to start with, tell me about your company, or better yet, why did you decide to go into one business versus another? How did this all start?
Wow, interesting. It started as I was I don't even want to say young man, a young boy. I had a great example of my father. He was an entrepreneur, and I think I just kind of followed in his footsteps without even knowing it. At 12, 13 years old, I was cutting grass and, I had my little composition notebook, walking around and shoveling snow when it snowed. And how I got into my first business is I got tired of going to school without a sharp roundup because my father would cut my hair trying to save money. So I said, I can do this on my own. I tried that at about 13, lined myself up, and I said, oh man, this is sharp, and probably as most people don't know, but I probably cut your hair quite a few times too coming up. In the YouTube.
When I had hair.
Both of us. So that's how I got into my first business at 13 years old, cutting my own hair, kids in the neighborhood, my brother's hair. And then one of my dad's friends came and over the house who owned a barbershop and saw me with about 4 or 5 people lined up in the utility room and said, hey, son, you really want to make some money, come to the shop and I'll show you how to really make money cutting hair. So at 15 years old, that's when I first started working at a barbershop in Richmond, Virginia. And from there, went to college, opened my first shop at 19 in Dinwiddie County, just outside of Petersburg area, where I went to college at Virginia State University, and then opened another one at Virginia State University, across the street from Virginia State University. So that's one of the business and how I got into that. It was just, happenstance, this meticulous planned event on how I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It just came to me naturally. And even at that time, without even knowing where I was going to be now, real estate was a big part of my life, even at 19 years old, where I bought my first house. I went to college and stayed in the dorm the first year. And then I happened to have a dog the next year. Once I graduated, I couldn't go to an apartment and things like that. So I went to a real estate brokerage and said, hey, I'd like to, rent a house. And, they said, why not think about renting or why not think about buying or renting to own? And I said, hey, let me see what you got. And ended up buying my first house at 19 years old and ended up buying 2 or 3 more houses on that block within the next couple of years as I found that to be a good investment. So not realizing how and what you do as a young man, how it can transpose into something 30 years after that you could use the knowledge and the experience that you've gotten to what you do now. So the barbershop was my first trade. I owned 3 of them. Currently, I'm the founder and owner, the CEO of Parkside Barbershop and Grooming Lounge, which is a very upscale barbershop and grooming lounge. Have about 20, 25 people that work for me, being barbers, receptionists, general manager, and have a well-versed team in that industry. That's still going on. That's been going on for about 26 years now. That's the first business. We also, my wife and I, have then started, we co-own Icon Realty Group, which is a real estate brokerage that has a residential and a commercial real estate component. We have about 60 agents at Icon Realty Group, 55 of them or 54 of them which are residential agents. And then I'm the president of Icon Commercial. We branched off from Icon, well, I shouldn't say branched off, it's still under the Icon Realty umbrella, but we found the need and the niche for a commercial real estate component in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia, as a minority commercial real estate brokerage. So we've been plugging along with that for the last 3 years, but Icon Realty Group has been in existence over 7 years now. So, that's in a short stint what I do, where I am now, and a lot of other things on the horizons as well.
So, to that point, the size of both of your companies, I know the challenges that I help business owners overcome when it comes to, working one business. How do you manage two businesses? I often am told that, running a business is not made for everybody, and you are growing and creating multiple businesses. How do you do that?
A lot of prayer. A lot of prayer.
I know that's right.
Fortunately, I'm a people's person, and how you do that is really putting good people in place, investing in them financially, educationally, to help you help them run the business. That's one of the big things that we have found through COVID, which allows us to, I left off another component of another business what we have. So we've expanded our business, the real estate brokerage, to South Florida. So we now reside in Virginia and in Fort Lauderdale, and we have another component of the real estate market or brokerage here as well in South Florida. So I go back to say, COVID has made us trust the people that we put in place to do these things. So that was, you gotta make lemonade out of lemons. And when COVID hit, that really helped us and taught us how to do that.
They often say that adversity creates opportunity, And so I think it's really unique. Like you said, you had to trust your people and to help them run the business. Now that's a different approach on that. So it takes it, like you have like you said, managers and, operations man. A lot of business owners will say, you need to have a process. You need to have systems or something like that. And they say, well, I'm just too busy, running the business to take time and write down systems and businesses. But it sounds like in order for you to expand, you've had to create systems and teams. What do you think has been the biggest contribution to your success when it comes to running multiple businesses outside of finding good people?
Wow. Just being involved, being knowledgeable of the business that you're in, educating yourself. One of my biggest assets is my wife. We are partners in business. So, I'm huge on, most people say, I don't want a business partner. You don't want to do all of this by myself, but I'm blessed to be able to have my wife as my business partner. And she brings a vast knowledge. She brings vast knowledge to the business. She's an entrepreneur herself. And we work together. We talk about everything. Communication, I guess that's one of the answers to your question. Is communication is huge, and dealing with your staff, communicating with other people outside of your business. One thing that I found to be very successful is, even though, I might have been involved in real estate all my life, even though I might have been involved in actually cutting hair most of my life, but neither one of those things teaches you how to run a business. So a lot of times, one of the things I've been very successful with was reaching outside of somebody who knows about the industry and getting business advice, and really putting a team together to help you organize the things that you need to have organized to successfully run a business. I think that was the that's probably a roundabout way, but that's the answer to your question, is seeking outside help. Because as an entrepreneur, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs feel like that they can do everything themselves. I fell victim to that as well. Went to college for business administration, so I know accounting, I'm good with my hands, so I can, build out, some things. I'm pretty knowledgeable with the computer, so I can do some things, but I'm not a web designer, I'm not an accountant, I'm not all of those things that we all try to do that ourselves as entrepreneurs, of course, to save money and to, basically to save money and create more capital. And we try to do it ourselves and end up being a jack of all trades and master of none. And then you don't have those systems that you spoke about that you really need to have that business run successfully without you actually having to be there.
So to that point, there are going to be lots of business owners who listen to this. And some of the challenges that I hear from them is like, I don't know where to start. How do I build a team of advisors and things like that? I don't know who's a good accountant or a good attorney. Do I need both? Do I need one or the other? How did you go about building your team?
So I'm a firm believer in working with people who work with you, supporting people who support you. So a lot of my team came from within, my clients, that came to Parkside Barbershop, clients that we've, sold their house for. We sold their house for them, especially the network that you build even outside of your business. I'm a big golfer, so, the country club that I'm a member of, I utilize and create the relationships. You create relationships for a reason. Use them. So the relationships that we've created, whether it be, professional client or country club membership, you ask questions and you find out who's the best of the best, or if they're not the best of the best, who can you afford at that particular time in your journey, and go from there. So that's how I attained all of my team.
Now, here's a unique thing. Some people have businesses like, I noticed there's a style in your business, an experience, or you tried it. When I see Parkside, it's also a grooming lounge icon, even in the name of it. It's just not like, Robert Jones Realty. What do you think has helped you weather the storm when there's so much competition out there when it comes to real estate companies, competition out there just in business in general? How have you guys been able to weather the storm of whether it be competition, COVID, or just the different things? Because most businesses fail within the first, year to 5 years, and you've been in business almost 30 years. Mm-hmm. How have you been able to do that?
You want to set yourself apart. I know it's a kind of cliche statement, but you really want to set yourself apart in everything that you do. Everything that we do in all of our businesses is an experience. It's not just a trade. Make it an experience. I like to say a white glove experience. When you come to Parkside Barbershop, you get a cold beer, glass of wine. It's not a hole in the wall. It's hardwood floors. I really invest. And that's one of the things we invest in our businesses, not just education, but decor. You want to make it someplace that people feel comfortable, feel lively, where you can cater to any demographic, any financial demographic, from the rich to the poor. You want to make it convenient for any and everybody to come spend their money, but have it in a very much an experience that they can't get from anybody else. And that's how we look at all of our businesses. I like to say business is business, whether it's hair salon, whether it's barbershop, whether it's real estate company, whether it's accounting firm. The fundamentals of how you run your business and how you make your clients feel is virtually the same. And
wow.
That's where we really set ourselves apart.
What stuck out in my mind is when you said you invest, and you invest in the experience. Mm-hmm. You invest in creating the experience. Now, business has been great for you, but I'm sure there are ups and downs, and people, oftentimes when they listen to things, you only hear the high level. What do you think has been the biggest challenge for you in running business, whether it be one or the other, or just both of them?
As you talk about challenges, any entrepreneur that you speak speak to, the challenges is the employees, the staff. You're going to show up to work every day because if you don't, you're going to fail.
Right.
It's your business, it's your investment, it's your baby. But the challenge is really putting the right people in place, being able to manage them, whether they're independent contractors, whether they're employees, really having a way with people and talking to people. And that's one of the gifts that I think I was blessed with is being able to communicate and relate to people, being sympathetic, but yet, letting them know that you mean business at the same time.
Right, right.
So many people have one without the other, but I think that's, and really being compassionate. Every rule doesn't apply to everyone in every situation. So
Right.
being able to understand that, decipher that, and move on. We like to definitely invest in our team.
So here's the thing. Knowing that you probably have 1,000 lessons learned. If you were to have a conversation with yourself, the younger version of yourself, 10 years ago, knowing what you know today, what would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself? That's a good question. And it sounds crazy, but I would tell myself to continue to do what you've been doing. We've been blessed and haven't had a whole lot of pitfalls. And I hope that speaks to, doing your due diligence and doing it right the first time. But, I can't say work harder because I worked hard and maybe work a little smarter. I've been able to be in this position a little earlier, but there's a time for everything and a place. And 10 years ago, I probably would have reached my antennas out a little. Don't be scared to cast a big net. One of my clients told me one time, you cast a small net, you catch small fish. Big net, you catch big fish. And don't be afraid to cast a big net. Let it be calculated though. Don't be
right.
I'm talking to myself, young Robert, be calculated. Just don't be all risky. I like to consider myself as an entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs are risk takers. That's what they call us.
Right.
But there's a difference between just a risk taker and a calculated risk taker. I like to consider myself as being calculated. I really think things through. My wife and I, we have a lot of conversations about new ideas, new businesses, new platforms, and I'm sort of like they say, well, let's think about this. She's like, oh, you don't agree with my idea? No, I do agree with it, but I want to look at every angle to make sure how we can mitigate the challenges or the pitfalls that we might see because we're acting upon emotion rather than, calculating the risk.
Right. So talking about that, taking on calculated risk, expanding and growing, what's next for you? Is it something that, like you said, you're an avid golfer, you like the country club? Is it someday, hey, you're going to exit because you're doing well at running companies and getting the right people in the right seat? Is it some type of exit strategy? Hey, I'm going to play more golf, or I'm going to just find a way to make more businesses. What's next for you?
Good question. You sound like a reporter that's trying to get the scoop early on.
You keep the trade secrets.
But we actually have a lot in store, and a lot of that is giving back, giving back, being able to, and I want to thank you for inviting me on your podcast because I think this is part of giving back. My wife did a women's luncheon summit this weekend in Richmond, and we're starting to find out with the success that we've had, being able to share that with other people and be able to help them succeed is something that is passionate to us, So that's sort of a segue into what we have that might be next on the horizon is, some sort of platform in which we're able to help other people be successful and really tell our story as, individuals who were successful apart and then yet have come together and been able to enjoy the success and magnify and increase the success that we've had apart together.
So here's a question that I want to know. I guess outside of more success or more business or more clients, what do you think would be the one thing that would move the needle in your business?
You know, in every business, there's another level.
Mm.
And with that extra level in real estate, you know, we've expanded from the Richmond market to the South Florida market, you know, and
Right.
that has been something that has moved the needle in the Richmond market, as people like to see and hear about how people become more successful. You know, so then it's okay, well, show me, teach me, you know, so that ultimately helps us as well move the needle. You know, I don't think I'll ever retire.
Right.
Do I think I'll play more golf? Yes. But, you know, it's going to be a fine balance, you know, so
Right.
everything that we do, you know, when we talk about investing, when we invest in other people, inevitably that helps move the needle in your industry, you know, in your relationship and the growth of our family and the growth of our business as a family together.
So tell me, to that point, you know, someday you won't be running the business. What would you want your legacy to be? Or better yet, what would you like people to be able to say about you when they think about Robert Jones or Icon Realty or Parkside? What would you want your legacy to be?
I want it to be excellence, you know, that they ran their business with excellence, with an experience and mostly integrity. You know, my name means a lot. Fortunately, it hasn't got tainted much yet. They haven't found a lot of my skeletons in the closet, which is good, but no.
Before the internet.
Before the internet. They might find something about me and you before they go to high school together now.
Yeah, I know that's right.
But, you know, the way that he operated with integrity, the way that every day, you know, people always want to know, why you smile every day? Why are you so happy? You know, and I want people to remember my legacy to be, he was happy. He enjoyed what he did.
Right.
You know, I don't feel like I've ever had a job.
Good.
Because I've enjoyed what I've done, you know, all the time. So, and I made sure that I operated with integrity. You know, even if you gotten fired by me, you can't say that, oh, he was a jerk about it, you know. No, you're gonna say pretty much I fired myself. He's the guy that gave you all the chances in the world. And ultimately, he had nothing else to do but get rid of you.
Well, that's awesome, man. You know, there are gonna be a lot of people listening to this podcast. And I mean, I asked you a lot of great questions. You gave me some phenomenal answers. Is there anything, think of, you know, some business owners driving in his car listening to this, or somebody's watching it late at night. What last piece of advice would you give to business owners, whether they in your type of business or just in business in general? You know, that really would encourage them to continue to do what they do.
You know, keep pressing forward. You know, I know they hear it all the time. Keep pressing forward. As I said, you know, calculate your risks. You know, make sure that you don't keep everything so close to your chest that you're not able to learn from other people. You know, like I said, it takes a team. It literally takes a team. There's no single entrepreneur out there that can say I've done it all on my own. You know, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I definitely want to let upcoming entrepreneurs know when they're riding a car. Who can I surround around me that's smarter than me, that's better than me, and that believes in me and willing to, you know, share some of their information or some of that I can trust to take some of these ancillary jobs off of my hands, as in, you know, accounting, you know, CFO, somebody who can help you plan for the next 5 years, plan your next 5 years out, because a lot of what we do is, when I say we entrepreneurs, we have this idea and we're stuck on this idea and how we're going to make it happen now, but not see how what it would look like 5 years from now, or put things in place now that will then step you to the next 5 years. So don't be afraid. Out there looking for your business, looking to start a business, looking to expand your business. Don't be afraid to think about in a bigger light. And when I say a bigger light, a team,
Right.
Somebody who can help take you to the next level.
Awesome.
Yep.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Once again, everybody, we've been talking with entrepreneur, mega mogul, Robert Jones, living from coast to coast, from the Big Apple to the pineapple, baby.
Again, I want to thank you for having me on here. And I've been watching your success. We've been able to catch up over the years and over many years that we haven't seen each other. And I'm proud of your success. And I'm proud of the way you're doing things with excellence and experience and integrity and systems. As we were approaching this day,
Right.
all of the technology that you're sending out, you're having your spokesperson, your admin come in, and then the technology is sending out reminders, questionnaires, and things of that sort. And I want to say you're doing a wonderful job, and it's a great experience.
Hey, man, I appreciate you participating in it, man. I really do appreciate you. I mean, look, hey guys, all of y'all who are watching and listening, you are looking at a gentleman right here who not only makes a profit in his company, he makes a difference in his people's lives. And he definitely is going to be a part of his family's future and creating a legacy. And all I can say is thank you. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for, being the guest on here, Mr. Robert Jones, the co-founder of Icon Real Estate Group and the founder of Parkside Barbershop and Grooming Lounge. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
This podcast is for informational purposes only. Guest speakers and their firms are not affiliated with or endorsed by PAS, Guardian, or Financial Growth Partners, and opinions stated are their own. Randy is a registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS, OSJ 11350, McCormick Road, Suite 202, Hunt Valley, Maryland. 21031-410-828-540. Securities, products, and advisory services offered through PAS, member FINRA SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, New York, New York. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Financial Growth Partners is the DBA name of IAPA, LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. 2022 139007 624.